Can you just introduce yourself and where you're from to start with?
Okay. So, should I look at the camera? Or
You can talk to me.
You can talk to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just a conversation.
Okay, just a conversation, cool. So my name is actually Kalden. Okay, so Tupten comes from my teacher, Lamzo Rinpoche, and Kalden is my kind of like ordination name, individual name. And I'm originally from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro.
Awesome.
So I'm 35 years old.
Excellent.
So,
looking good for your age.
Exactly,
I'm
looking
you're
good,
doing
very
pretty
good. I'm happy for that. And I've been a monk for now for a little bit more than 4 years, but I've been in Buddhism for 10 years now.
Ah, okay.
Exactly.
And all right, what was, if you're allowed to say,
Yes,
what was your name before your name changed?
My name was Marcus.
Marcus?
Yes.
It's a little bit different now.
No.
It's just a little bit different.
I find both easy. Kalden and Marcus is easy.
It works. How did you start down the road of Buddhism? Like, what led you to that 10 years ago?
Okay, so I was working in finance. I was working with private equity in an investment bank back in Brazil. We used to have different projects and different things, and I became a partner of the bank when I was quite young, as 23, 24. And,
that young?
Yeah. And then,
wow,
and then
that's huge.
I realized that I was not really happy with my lifestyle, even though I was intellectually, it was so fascinating, because we had so many amazing projects and like private equities, like you look for companies, they are not doing so well and they would like to actually like grow, or they would like to invest in something new or something. So it was very interesting because it was like from ice cream companies to kind of like hospitals and things like that. So, but at the end of the day, I was just making rich people richer. That was the goal, right? So for me, it didn't touch my meaning in life. I was not feeling like that my life was being used in a meaningful way. My parents are both doctors and they were always working for others, taking care of people. So for me, it was a bit like, what am I doing here? I didn't care about money at all. I used to have like always second hands because I'm the youngest of 3 boys. So I always had all the used stuff. So for me, it was never a problem actually. But at some point, I started to realize that I needed to do something for myself, to really find. So then I decided to quit my job, and I decided to just, I called it a sabbatical. I was going for a sabbatical, a 10-year sabbatical. It has been.
Yeah, they don't usually last that long, but that's okay.
No. So then we stayed, I traveled for a while, especially in South America, because I wanted to get to know the places, where were close to Brazil. And then when I was already in Asia, I started to feel that like just traveling, after 6-7 months, I was a bit bored already. I didn't make sense. So I ended up going to do a little bit of working in charities with kids, especially because I always liked to work with kids. In Brazil, I helped in some of charities there. They had like storytelling for kids and things like that. So I always liked that.
You old softie.
So yeah, totally. And then I was helping with this, but I was still also not feeling it. So
even that wasn't touching you where you thought? It
wasn't touching because I could see the amount of suffering there was still in those people, and the amount of suffering in myself. My mind was still very, agitated and unhappy, dissatisfied,
Did you see it as suffering at the time?
I saw it as a dissatisfaction. I was like, I was in a project in Bali, in this beautiful place and everything, and I was still unhappy. Like things were still, So then I had a dream with my mom, who told me that dream, saying, where you have to go. And my mom, she had given me like all of these, let's say kind of like little cards with like a Jesus Christ, but also with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all of that. Because my mom, like She believes in everything. Like that.
She had all bases covered.
Exactly. She has everything covered. My dad is the opposite. My dad don't believe in anything, but my mama believes in everything. So it's a good mix, you know? It's a good mix.
Would be confusing.
Very confusing, but very good. You find your middle path, you know, at some point in life. So I woke up and I thought about it, and I decided to go to this place that this lady called Amma. She gives hugs to people and she talks about love, and it's in the south of India. So then I decided to give it a try. But the moment that I decided to do that, Tibetan Buddhism started to come to me or find me, or me finding Tibetan Buddhism in many ways. I remember going to a place in Malaysia, and it's like in the island in the middle of nowhere, and this guy, the owner of this little guest house, coming to me and say, I have a book for you, and it's called the Dharma, you know, from one special teacher called Kalden Rinpoche. And I was a bit like, what is this? And then
so you hadn't really even
I had it read because my mom used to give to me when I was 10. I skipped that part, but when I was 10 or 12, between 10 and 12, like this, I started to ask myself about religions. So I started to ask my mom, asked me to show the different religions. So I read about them, and she was giving me books, and we would go to places because Brazil is very open for religions, no? So I used to go to these places, and nothing really touched, you know? But Tibetan Buddhism already, because I read a book from His Holiness the Dalai Lama that really made, wow, you know, like it really touched me. So I said, but not for now, you know, I was still young, and then I left it there. So then it came back again, you know, Buddhism and how it was. So then I went to this ashram from Amma, and when I was leaving after a few months there, one girl came to me and said, I heard you're going to Kopan, I heard you're going to Kathmandu, you should go to Kopan and you should meet Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And I was a bit like, okay, I don't know what's Kopan, I don't know what's Lama Zopa Rinpoche, I don't know you, so we give it a try.
Sounds like a normal travel story so far.
Exactly, right? So I came to Kathmandu, and I was staying at Bodhanath, and I already started to feel, wow, how special that place is, how special. So then I started to really think about it and say, okay, does it exist, this place Kopan? So I came to visit Kopan, and I remember that I felt at home. I was just like, I want to stay here. I just want to stay. So I went to the reception and asked if there was a possibility to stay, and they said, oh, we have an introduction to Buddhism course starting tomorrow. We have one left space.
No way.
Do you want to stay? And
No way.
Yes. I went to stay. So I stayed. So I did the first introduction to Buddhist course, 10 days, and it just changed my life. It just changed my life. At the same time, there was a little note saying, Ani Tenzing needs help with the water bowls. And I said, I have no idea what water bowls are. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea who Ani Tenzing is. So then I went, and then she came, yes, come here. And then she showed me the place. It's this beautiful place on the top of the Gompa, the meditation hall. And I was a bit like, wow, what is this place? And she said, oh, this is the house of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And I said, wow, I heard this person, this name, I heard this. And then we were there doing water bowls, which is a beautiful practice of offering, you know, water, and imagining, visualizing beautiful things that we offer. And it was 4:30 in the morning, and we used to be there doing that for many hours. So then I started to do the courses, and I started to do that. So I did a lot of courses. I did one course after the other, and I stayed here for maybe 2 months. And then what happened was that I wanted to leave, because I had to go as well. I said, I was planning to go back to India. But then she said, this nun said, oh, no, Lama Zopa Rinpoche is coming. Wait, stay. And I said, okay. So we're all here waiting for Rinpoche to arrive, everybody with a kata, you know, like this white scarf, and everybody waiting. And we are waiting 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, nothing of Rinpoche. And I was thinking, who is this Rinpoche? Who, like, you know, I'm getting hungry and And then Rinpoche arrives, and I hear Rinpoche is laughing, and I just start crying. It just touched my heart so much that I couldn't stop crying. And then when I saw Rinpoche, I just knew, there was this phrase in my mind, now we meet again, my friend, now we meet again. Ooh. And then I just knew that I just wanted to do whatever I could to serve that person, to give my life to that person. And it has been like that for the last 9 years, 10 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so then due to the kindness of Rinpoche, I was able to study a little bit and do some retreat, but especially serve the centers. Rinpoche, together with Lama Yeshe, they created Kopan, and out of Kopan, they created this incredible organization called the FPMT, the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition. And we have around 120 centers and projects around the world. So there was always the need to go and help. So Rinpoche was always so kind and telling me, oh, very good if you can go there. Or I would ask Rinpoche, maybe now I can do retreat. And he would say, no, maybe you go to this place, to this center. And it was always going to be problems. Always big problems. So, but I always tried, because Rinpoche really embodied that, that those teachings in a way that when we talk about Buddhism, we talk a lot about the method, which is compassion, and bodhicitta, the wish to achieve enlightenment so we can benefit sentient beings, right? And enlightenment means that you become a Buddha, and a Buddha is just someone that completely eradicated suffering and its causes from your own mind, and you are able to develop all the good qualities. You have perfected all of the good qualities. So universal love, universal compassion, universal wisdom, patience. So Rinpoche represented that, he embodied that, so made us believe that it was real. So when you believe in that, then you say, okay, so you can do that. And he was always making us practice in real life, not when you go and you sit in your room and then you meditate, oh wow, so nice. And then you come to others and and you get impatient and you get angry and you fight. That makes no sense, right? Then there's no point.
Well, it's still practicing.
It is practicing. But then he used to say to us, practice. So then I really tried, and I've been trying to do that. I'm not successful, but slowly we try.
We're not all the way there yet. I'm a lot further to go than you, I think.
I think we are. I feel that I don't know anything. Each day I know less. But I think that it's a path that we became really strong. So then I helped all of these centers for a long time as a lay person, because I was thinking what would be most beneficial, because I could help in this way, I could do some other things. But then at some point I realized that I really would like to dedicate my life really to practice Dharma and to be able to help others. So I decided a bit more than 4 years ago to really take the vows, the ordination as a monk. And then I took with Rinpoche, and then I took the other set of vows, which are the fully ordained monk with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So this has been extremely fortunate to have these two beings, incredible enlightened beings, like guiding me and and being a source of inspiration. So I don't know if I am 100% happy, but I'm happier than I was 10 years ago.
Well, that was about to be my next question. How would you describe that your life has changed, like at its source?
I feel that at a source, the most important thing has been the decreasing of my self-cherishing. Like our minds, and especially when I was in this bank and all of that, I was thinking so much about myself, so worried about my own needs, just me. At some point gets tiring,
Yeah.
And now to be able to, as much as I can, to use my body, my speech, my mind, everything, the skills I have, the whatever I have learned by the kindness of my teachers, to try to share that, And this can be by helping in a center, in a monastery as a admin person, and kind of like helping the conditions, the outside conditions to be like, good enough for people to practice, or maybe doing blah, 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 as I say, sharing
Your blah, blah, blah is very good.
Sharing my blah, blah, blah. Then if I can do that, whatever is beneficial. I remember when I got ordained, and I called my mom, and she asked me, how do you feel? And I feel my life is not mine anymore. I feel my life is not mine anymore. And she said, what that means? And I said, I feel that if someone needs help, then I'm gonna go and help. If the need is there, if someone really asks for that, then I go. So recently my dad hasn't been very well health-wise, and for me, going back to Brazil is a bit like, okay, so what I'm gonna do there? But then I stayed over there with him, taking care of him, making sure he was okay, because that's what was needed at the time. And then I'm here in Kopan now because someone asked me to come and to help. Then I'm here now. Then somewhere else someone goes, and then I go. Like this freedom of not having so many expectations and ideas and hopes and fears about myself.
Yes.
That
I know that.
tightness of I should be like this, I cannot be, I shouldn't be like that. But this openness, this freedom of actually being authentic, and then from there being able to help others, from there genuinely generating compassion and love. Right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it can become just like a character. I should be compassionate, I should be loving, I should be kind. No, sometimes you need to be very tough, you need to say things, you're going to have discussions that are not going to be easy, and that's how you learn as well. But you do it out of this motivation to try to be a better person, right?
Yeah.
So the teachings of the Buddha, they are so special because they say the method, but also with the wisdom. You need to have the wisdom of understanding reality, of understanding your own self, understanding your limitations, understanding how things exist, how things really are, the impermanence, how things are changing all the time. Then you can start to use the method in a better way. Then because sometimes you think compassion is just like letting everybody go on top of you, kind of like type of thing, like, oh yes, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. No, sometimes it's like you need to be tough as well, because tough love or tough compassion, if it is from a real place of wanting to benefit others, it's also a method. Right?
Sometimes it's the best method.
And it's the best method, when you had the kid, your children, they were young, sometimes you have to say, and they were like, But that was because out of love, this was going to be the best for them to understand.
100%.
And I need to do this with myself sometimes as well, to get out of my own laziness, to get out of my own...
That one just hit home.
To kind of like say, believe in you. Because then also, we stop to being so kind of like worried about our own things, but we started to connect with really what is important to us and what is meaningful to us. And when you start to realize that we are all unique with our own causes and conditions that made us be who we are now, we have our own stories, our own skills, our own ways, and these makes us unique to be able to help others. Because nobody is like you. Nobody has those conditions that you have in a way. So you are unique, you're special in one way. But you only make yourself special if it is in relation to help others. Because if you think that you are special, then you don't become special,
Yes.
It's just
that's a hard lesson for a few people to learn, I think. That's a tough one.
Because especially nowadays with all of these Instagram and all of these things, it's like we want to appear how we not really are, right?
Yes.
And then we start to become even more distant from here, distant from what unites us as being human beings, that honest, authentic and pure wish to be happy and be free from suffering. We all are like that. But then we think that we need to invent more, that we need to put more, that we put more makeup, that we need to kind of like create more things looking for that happiness. Happiness is much more simple. Happiness is much more seeing reality, seeing how things are, seeing how we are interdependent, how we depend on each other, and not trying to be independent, We have this tendency, especially in the West, I can do it. I was a lot like this.
I'm still like this.
I used to feel so much that I could do everything, because when you're young, when you have money, you have this, or you can do whatever, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
But the emptiness of it, and not the emptiness in the Buddhist way, but the feeling of dissatisfaction is just bigger and bigger because you're not connecting with what you really want. And what we want is connection.
Yes.
You know, we want love, we want unconditional love, unconditional kindness. And the same way that we like to receive this from people, we also can do this from people. We should do this from people, because whatever we're looking for, all these beings are giving to us, you know?
Yes.
We receive their kindness through food, through shelter, through clothes. But also, if you want to love someone, if you want to love, you need to have beings. You need to have people over there for you to love, right? So that all of these, it's depending on sentient beings, and depending on people, depending on animals, depending on all of these. So that is when life becomes meaningful, when you really start to create, to see how you can benefit others. But then you start to see, right now I'm drowning myself, so how can I help someone? Then you start to work with your mind, then you start to transform your mind, then you start, you know, the Buddhist teachings help you with that, the meditation help you with that. Then you start to change.
Yes.
It's a long path. Of course, it is a long path.
But the important thing that I've picked up from my 10 days working with you is that you don't have to be a monk to start on that path.
Oh, please, no.
And it doesn't matter if you come from a different religion or no religion at all.
Anything. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he always says, the best religion is that makes you a better human being. And that is, you know,
100%.
That is what I feel that it can do. If you can develop a warm heart, as His Holiness calls, a heart that is really worrying and caring towards others, that is not self-centered and only thinking about you, that understands that interdependence between us and knows that your happiness is as important as mine, that if you are suffering and I am happy, I'm not going to be able to be truly happy. If you can do that, then whatever you do with that motivation, that real motivation, that's the answer. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're going to become monk, not become monk, if you're going to do whatever you do in your life. This is the motivation that is more important. Then with understanding, you know, how things exist, unifying like wisdom and compassion, then you manifest in the best way, you know?
Yeah.
That's why we say that becoming a Buddha, it is the best way to manifest, because you have perfected this. You're not drowning anymore, you're not suffering, and then you do that. But becoming a Buddha is something that we all have the potential inside. It's not that you only Buddhist people have. No, it's not only monks and nuns. No, everybody has this potential, because it's almost like a title, like it's a mental state. Buddhahood. Yes. It's not something out there. It's not something that is going to make, you need to do this and that, you need to shave your head, you need to come to a monastery, you need to... No. It's that potential of benefit sentient beings in a true, authentic way.
Yes, and because everybody's path is different.
That everybody's path is different. So then you can become a Buddha. That is that Buddha nature that we call the potential, that potential to benefit beings. It's lying inside of us dormant, you know? Completely covered by me. I like this, me, I like that, me, I don't like this, I don't like that. All of that. That's why we need to clean first. Then we clean. And then this light, this can shine. And then we can benefit others.
I look forward to the day that my light can shine a bit more.
You're doing great. You know that. You awesome. You're great father, great person, great. Yeah, just continue. Just keep on hearing here more than here, you know?
Yeah, I will. Thank you so very, very much for taking the time to chat to me.
Thank you.
It means more than you realise.
No. Thank you so much.